We're Yudam Aleph, we are 10a. We discussed yesterday the difference between Shimshon and Yehuda, both of which engaged with women that were, say, questionable in their legitimacy. And we described Shimshon as going down to Timnah, and Yehuda going up to Timnah. And we discussed various different ways of understanding that. Two of them geographical. One answer is there's two different Timnahs, or there's one Timnah, and depending if you're on the top of the hill, you're coming down. If you're at the bottom of the hill, you're going up. And then one answer was that it was a question of their character, their intent, going down to Timnah, in that Shimshon went for the wrong reason, and there was no real progeny that came out of the union with Shimshon and this woman. Whereas Yehuda, he went up to Timnah because in being together with Tamar, he produced progeny, King David, and then finally Mashiach's coming. So this is where we are. And the Gemara now is going to comment on the fact that there was a positive element to Yehuda's engagement with Tamar, and specifically we're going to see how he made sure that halachically it was all okay. But first the Gemara comments as follows. The verse reads, in describing where Tamar was sitting, pretending to be this professional woman, luring Yehuda in. So the verse says, "Teshev b'Pesach Einayim." She sat at the entrance of Einayim. Einayim literally translates as eyes. Pesach Einayim, which is on the way to Timnah, and that's where he was going. So what exactly is the nature of this Einayim? She's sitting at the entrance of Einayim. What's Einayim? Which literally means eyes. So Rabbi Alexander says, Malamed, this indicates Shaholcha, that Tamar went, V'yashva and sat, V'yashva and she sat, V'pischa shel Avram Avinu, at the entranceway to Avram Avinu. It doesn't indicate exactly what this means. Does that mean that she was where Avram Avinu was buried? And that's what it means. She was sitting at the entrance to think. Could be. Or could be because the Gemara is about to tell us tomorrow about Avram Avinu's hospitality. Maybe the entrance to Avram Avinu means there, the place where Avram Avinu had his hospitality. I'm not sure. The Gemara only says she sat at the entrance to Avram Avinu. Now, what does Avram Avinu's entrance have to do with Einayim? Eyes. Says the Gemara, Shekol Einayim soifos l'roisai. Because everybody looked, all eyes were upon Avram Avinu as the leader of the Jewish people, as leader of the generation. Right? Avram Avinu as the pinnacle of God's messenger in the world. Yeah. Like Rashi says, people would often go there to meet people, and people would accompany people there because they liked that place. They felt it was Avram Avinu's place was beloved to them, and that's why it was called the eyes, because everybody was looking at that place in this kind of endearing way. And therefore, the verse says that Tamar sat at the entrance of Einayim, it means this place where everybody's eyes are upon the entrance of Avram Avinu, the entrance of Abraham. Okay, one explanation. Rabbi Chanan says the name of Rav. Mokim, it's a place. Sheshmoy Einayim, his name is Einayim. Don't read into it that Einayim is an allusion to something else. It's just literally a place called Einayim. Right? Elsewhere it says in the book of Yeshua, describing different locations. There it says Tapuach va'Einayim. So we see there's a place called Einayim. Okay, so two understandings as to what the verse means when it says that Tamar sat at the entrance of Einayim. Either it's literally a geographical place called Einayim, or something more deeply, like Alexandria writes, that she was sitting at the entrance of Avram Avinu, and that's the kind of place that everybody's eyes were upon this place, because everybody was attracted and loved endearingly the place of Avram Avinu. That's right. It'd be a lot of people. It was like a popular place. Everybody liked this place, Avram Avinu's place. It has all that holiness. It has all that beauty, that history. Okay, so this is already interesting. Something that Yehuda's union with Tamar has the eyes of Avraham Avinu, as like there's this vision for the Jewish people in Yehuda and Tamar's union that Mashiach is going to come. Right? There's eyes to it. There's right from the start, right from Avraham Avinu. There's these eyes element that see forward into what the Jews need, and part of that is Yehuda and Tamar coming together, so that Mashiach can eventually arrive from them. Maybe that's kind of what the Gemara is alluding to here. Okay. Then the Gemara continues and says, V'cheinu Amar, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani says, what does it mean? She said at the entrance to the eyes. So Nosna Einayim L'Torah. She gave eyes to what she did. Kishetava when it was demanded of her, meaning when she was questioned. Meaning to say, she found a way to make it okay. And that's what it means. She put eyes to it. She found a way to make it okay, to make what she's doing okay. She defended her position. And that's what the word eyes mean. So there's three interpretations now. Third interpretation to what it means that she sat at the entrance of Einayim. Either literally a place called Einayim, or it's the eyes because everybody's looking at Avraham Avinu's place. This is where everybody's looking. Or she set eyes to make sure that what she's doing is okay. Yeah. How to so? This explains the Gemara. Amar La, Yehuda said to her, when she presented herself to seduce him, to allure him in. So Yehuda says to her, Shema Nachris At, maybe you are not Jewish. I can't be with you. Amar Le, she said, I'm a convert. Now, what does a convert mean? This is before the Jewish people got the Torah. What kind of Jewish people, what kind of conversion? So now she says, I have abandoned all idol worship. And that's the definition of a pre-Matan Torah convert. It's not converted to Judaism in the classic sense, but converted to monotheism, right? Which is again connected to the entrance of Avraham Avinu, because Avraham Avinu is the founder of monotheism. And that's what she means. She says, I'm a convert. I'm part of Avraham Avinu's camp, right? We know that Avraham Avinu himself had many converts. And actually, the Gemara is going to discuss in the next piece how Avraham Avinu went about.
And she was married.
Oh, we're going to get to that in a second. But Avraham Avinu went about. We're going to learn how Avraham Avinu went about inspiring converts to monotheism. So she says, I'm one of these people. I'm one of these converts. So Yehuda presses her further. Shema Eshes Ishat. Maybe you're a married woman. Amalei, she said, Pnuyani, I'm single. Her previous husband's died, so she's single. So Yehuda pressed her further. Shema Kibol Bach Avil Kedushin. Maybe, without your knowledge, your father married you off to somebody. And therefore you are married. You think you're single, but really you're not single. So she said, Yusaimani, I am a orphan. I'm alone. Now she goes through exactly what that means and comparing it to the previous marriages. We're going to leave that for now. She's an orphan. He presses her further. Shema Tmayat. Maybe you're impure. Maybe she hasn't gone to mikvah yet. She's a nida from menstruation. On the lay, so she said back to him, Tairani, I am pure. I've been to mikvah. I've been to mikvah. And this way, she set eyes to defend her position. And therefore, she certainly had the right intention. Right? This goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, that there's two parts here. There's Yehuda's intention and Shimshon's intention, and then there's the woman's intention. Right? So first of all, we see from the story both elements. Number one, Yehuda, even though he may have gone because he wanted to, what he thought he was being with a professional woman, he nonetheless made he played 20 questions to make sure that it was all permissibly halachically. Number one. Where Shimshon just said, like we learned earlier, I like her. Number two, also on her end, the Philistine woman who wanted to be with Shimshon was for what reason? For selfishness. Like we learned before, they all wanted to have his seed. They wanted to have his offspring because he was so strong. But Tamar, she did it with eyes. She did it with making sure she's okay. She sat at the entrance of Avraham Avinu. She did it with this kind of vision, knowing that this is the right thing to do. And therefore, maybe even this explains further why there's an elevation to Yehuda, whereas a descent to Shimshon. There's an elevation to Yehuda because the woman that lured her in was in a place of height. And therefore, even if he went in for the wrong reason, maybe, or not for the purest of reason, she elevated that because of where she was coming from. As opposed to Shimshon, where the woman is just doing it to lure him in, and he it's hard to speak this way about a tzaddik like Shimshon, but he gave into this. Anyway, so I'm sorry that I have to cut short today because I have bar mitzvah downstairs shortly, but at least we learned something a little bit. And God willing, tomorrow we'll get into Avram Avinu and his tactics of bringing in these converts. Yeah, what are you saying?
Use the word eyes in the positive sense. Here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's a dichotomy.
That's right. Eyes in the positive sense. Beautiful.
That's in the theme, really.
Beautiful. You had before that Shimshon is punished by the eyes because he followed his eyes. And here we have the positive in the eyes. Yes, very good. I should have thought of that. Thank you. It's very good. So again, we're seeing Yehuda as the antidote to Shimshon, as it were. Like where Shimshon struggled, Yehuda, or the story of Yehuda kind of reconciles. Using the eyes, not to find what I want, but using the eyes to find what does Hashem want. Very, very good. Okay, have a wonderful day, everybody.